Open source AI models keep surprising us this month. While there is not much new 3D AI, we have crazy good LLMs. Like last month we just had Kimi K3 and now we have GLM 5.3 claiming to be even better. And this one is actually very interesting. While Kimi have 2.7 trillion parameters, new GLM model claims to outperform Kimi while having only 750 billion parameters, which is 3 times less. Overall, that significant boost was only possible because of additional training. We also have another interesting model, which is Qwen 3.8, which you also mentioned in the comments sometime. We're gonna test it together with GLM 5.3, and surprise surprise, we're gonna test Grok, which is supposed to be a top model with recent 4.6. And this time results are quite surprising and there's a lot I need to tell you. So hit that like button and subscribe to support what I'm doing, and let's start. Okay, so a few more words about GLM and why I'm so excited. The key advantage is that it shows crazy performance on the lower amount of parameters, which basically results in amount of VRAM later needs to run that model. Kimi K3 or Qwen 3.8, they do have way more parameters that will require way more resources to run that locally. I even saw articles saying that yes, we do have this new open source, but it's very hard to actually run it. And then comes GLM 5.3 saying like, guys, we can do the same magic without having trillions of parameters. That's super exciting. And of course Grok is getting better and better, but so far there is no much hype about it. But with new version, it seems to take second place in terminal bench score, right after Claude Opus 5. Well, I hope it will perform same well. And another interesting thing is the pricing. Well, interestingly, that API cost for Grok and Qwen is actually the same. $2 for input, $6 for output. Only GLM by API will be cheaper, 1.4 for input and 4.4 for output. With that clear, let's start the fun part. This number one, we're gonna do some animated jellyfishes, 3D, all that things. You can see the prompts on the screen. I'm gonna later reveal all the stats and talk honestly where it fails, where it works. So let's start with Grok. I of course was running Grok, GLM and Qwen on max effort, and I'm gonna tell you quite a lot of stories about that max effort. But again, this test, everything started very nicely. I think it's quite nice result. Let's see how GLM did that. Okay. Well, it's also pretty fine. I think Grok did that better in some way, but this one is also correct. I mean, maybe like aesthetically, I just like Grok better, but this one is also quite nice work. And here's the result from Qwen 3.8. Okay, well, this one is definitely failed. It's not even looking like jellyfishes. Dang, failed. What about time? All models worked approximately 30 minutes and the cost is relatively cheap. It's a small task. So you can see them on the screen. So Qwen and GLM pretty much the same, a little bit higher, actually twice higher, the Grok 4.6. But I believe Grok is the winner here. Especially I like the physics and visuals. Here you can also see my conclusion. You can pause the video and read. But before we go into the juicy parts, let me answer the question I got all the time. You've probably noticed that my videos are available in different languages and we keep adding more. And that's all thanks to AI audio generation, specifically Fish Audio, which is also a sponsor of this video. They just dropped a new model, S2.1 Pro, which you will not believe that available free by API with no hard cap until November, and that's same as paid tier. That's insane. The workflow is very simple. You can give it sample of your voice and it will convert it up to 83 languages.
Hola a todos, Stefan por aquí. Mina Stefan da. Salut tout le monde, c'est Stefan.
That's actually very fast. That's pretty much all dubbing pipeline for my channel. You can do much more with that. You can generate new voice lines with your saved voices and you can control emotions. Like you can leave those in brackets like emphasis, clear throats, angry. Or you can even put it simple, dead tired, end of very long shift, and it will play it exactly in that way. That's really huge. And if that's not enough, they recently released S2 Pro, Pro with open weights, which you can download and run locally. Fish Audio makes developers its priority. So if you're building anything, there will be MCP, API, all things that you might need to provide to your agent and do what you want. So definitely try Fish Audio API or MCP. Link will be in the description. Moving to the next test, and this one will be much harder. Well, I hope so. The idea is to create 3D Earth in 3GS, and from publicly available API puts all the flights right now in a 3D space, so I can actually go and see like where the flights exist. There are public API for that. All is absolutely legal. Task is on your screen. Let's check the results. Let's start with Grok. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, the planet looks actually good. I don't know where it gets it. Again, there's a lot of open sources. And the flights. Well, I think they definitely could be a better job, like to make them more distinguishable. And yeah, here we go. Like I actually can play with them. Look, we can see the number. However, it doesn't cover like all the regions, right? And that's one thing about this task. But Grok actually parsed more than 3,000 aircrafts, showing them in same time on the screen in 16 regions, which I think is quite impressive. Let's see what GLM did. Here what I like, you can actually see here like that the regions, there are like just few regions basically where we can track the aircrafts. Okay, but at least they are more visible. So yeah, we can see all the information. Cool, but the amount of regions is very, very limited, right? Like you can pretty much see how it looks. And there's quite a lot of problems. But let me be honest a little about the GLM. While doing this task, I faced so much struggles with this max thinking effort. Basically, GLM was starting to think and not doing anything. And sometimes it actually crashes with API. I was using like official ZAI. So this was only second task and I already faced some issue, which not really related to how smart model is, but this API harness restriction, that was quite sad. But I managed to complete this task. Now about Qwen, and it actually did way better job. I would say it did what GLM tried to do, but successfully. And at fraction of cost, like I mean 3 times less time and tokens, right? So yeah, this one is definitely failed by GLM, while Qwen and Grok passed it. Maybe not best result, but they definitely passed it. And Qwen, as I said, was fastest and cheapest. You can see all the prices and total time. Let's move to the next test. This one is interesting. I'm gonna ask to do a procedural tree grow. I don't know why I wasn't doing this test before. This was really, really fun and test quite a lot of stuff, like spatial understanding and mass understanding all together. We're gonna ask to do this task in Blender. I think Blender is quite good. And then record this process. So, as usual, complete task description is on your screen. Let's check the results. Let's start Grok 4.6. Okay, and actually I see the animation. Animation looks amazing. Well, not amazing, but it works. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Let's check GLM. Here we go. Okay, so camera goes around and okay. Well, this one I like much more. I think this tree looks more natural. There are more leaves. Well, leaves are looking better. And there is nice animation. Okay, good. Let's see what Qwen can offer us. Okay, now this is not looking good. Okay, wow. Okay, this looked more like a bush. Definitely not a tree. And yeah, leaves are disconnected or like they're rotated, whatever. My favorite here, I think, will be GLM. This just looks better. And next will be Grok. Grok definitely did the task nice. And here's the interesting thing. Grok did this task so much faster. Like this was the first task that can require like quite a lot of time. And you can see the difference. Like Qwen and GLM approximately 4 hours. Grok just 30 minutes. And it even costs cheaper. While it's actually paid model supposed to be more expensive. And here you can see some insights. Let's move to the next one. How about this? We need to create a staircase and a character, like a person, a humanoid character anyway, that actually walks and holds the rail and feet by feet and step on each stair, right? This one is quite difficult. I was really thinking like all of them will not deliver anything good. So let's see if they did. Let's start with Grok. Okay, all right. I think it's just calculated, right? It's definitely just scripted, calculated movement. But this guy, it's even look okay. I can distinguish what's going on. This guy, they're definitely having like not the best day. All right, technically, that was it. And by the way, guys, if you want more videos like this, like comparing GLM 5.3 with Kimi and Opus, just let me know in the comments. Most of my video ideas are right from the comments, and I appreciate your support and your attention. Now GLM, okay. Well, something definitely going on here, but it doesn't look like human at all. So I guess failed, right? It wasn't able to do the person nice. Let's take a look. And Qwen, okay. Well, this staircase is super small. There are Z artifacts all over. But you know, if we are not taking into account like the size of the staircase and this blinks, it's sort of like better than GLM 5.3. Well, at least that's my opinion. Let's see what it costs. I'm sorry I couldn't measure the time for Grok in this task, but it was around 1 hour. And here are the costs. So GLM was cheapest, but it failed. Well, again, like it spent like 1 hour, like maybe a little bit more. Qwen, not that good, 2.5 hours, and Grok just 1 hour, but I think it did it. And here are some insights after generation. Okay, we're gonna move to the next step. And guys, you might wonder where are those one-shot cases, etc. Well, I did some games, we're gonna show them later, but you know, when you really start doing this test, it's not that smooth at all. You cannot imagine how much I was fighting with GLM max thinking. Sometimes it was just starting to think and disappear. Just thinking, not doing anything, and I had to restart to actually saying inside the prompt like, think less, do more, like don't overthink. That's crazy. And I figure out that's a common issue with everyone who used the API. The only smooth experience so far was working with Grok and Claude. Even with ChatGPT, it was not that pleasant. So the task is to put a sailing ship into the storm and see the animation. You can see details on your screen. I was already talking a lot, so let's review the results. Grok, okay. Colors are very strange. Does it look like a physics? The model actually is generated. I actually gave it like full AI API, so I can generate model with Tripo, right? Okay, here we go. I don't know. If it was a Steam review, I would say mix it. Let's check GLM. Okay, this one looks sort of better. And you know, funny thing is that GLM actually generated cargo and the ship and put the cargo on the ship. That was cool. The water doesn't look like, well, maybe like from this angle, it looks like something. But I think actually GLM is even better than Grok in this case. Let's see what Qwen can offer. Here we go. Like, dang. You see what I see? The ship is rotated. No, I'm not taking that. That's failed. Okay, so what about expenses? GLM was working longest while spending not much credits. That's because it was thinking for crazy amount of time. You can see that 92% of output was reasoning, like this max thinking. Like, I don't know. Qwen could spend like extra 5 minutes to rotate the boat. And the Grok did it, but it's not really floating, like the physics are not really nice. So here are my insights, my conclusions. You can take a look. The next one will be Demolition. We're gonna switch to Unity in this one. Gonna provide it with MCP, all that stuff. And by the way, guys, if you wonder how I connect like Blender, like Unity, Godot sometimes, I have plenty of videos on my channel, so subscribe, do not miss it out. Like I explain best setups, best MCP, how I do that. All is already there, and I keep updating things. Now, the idea is that we have a building, and at some point there are blows that should destroy the object. Well, detailed explanation of the task is on your screen. Let's take a look. Here we go with Grok. Okay, so it doesn't look like something blowing, but physics look natural, right? Okay, and it slowly starts falling. Dang, but I mean, it's more or less good. Like, I mean, it's a little bit toyish, but at least, and you know, like this graphics, I think is, what is this? Like an inverted normals? Yeah, I think it's inverted normals. Like the shading is really off. Or is that just shading look like that? It's very strange though. Yeah, maybe it's inverted normals. Let's take a look at GLM. And here I have to tell you a story. While doing this test, again, like I was doing my thing and I was seeing that it was running some tests, and actually at some point the building was falling. But then in the final results, it gave me this. So it reduced the force of blow or something, and even though something definitely happening inside, that's not enough to make it fall. So I don't know, this guy is probably a huge overthinker, and that made it fail to test. And here we have the Qwen. Let's go. Instantly crushes the building, and these particles that I cannot see anything. Well, apparently maybe that's actually the most realistic, you know, like when big buildings fall, there is like so much dust that you barely can see anything. Well, that's exactly what's happening here, but I prefer it done in a bit different way, so I don't really know what to say. I guess Grok, but I don't know, like Qwen, they all failed. It was taking quite a lot. All stats are on your screen. And Grok, by the way, here was the most expensive. Next one. How about we're gonna ask it to create 2 movable bridge with traffic, 2 roads, and a river. So there will be boat, there will be a traffic, and all these constructions should work. Like when boat come in, the bridge should open, and then traffic should stop. Well, such an ambitious task, but technically it's not that difficult. It's sort of a small simulation. All details on your screen. Let's see results. Grok. Ooh, this looks really nice. I mean, visually it looks okay. You can see boat approached, the bridge is open, and traffic stopped going there. Okay, so there, look, I mean, actually it's very fun. Okay, we're waiting, like, look, like it waits, the last car goes, now this bridge is up. Dang, I really like that. Well, that's actually very fun to see. Look, I mean, this is a quite nice simulation. Look, and there is like already 2 boats there stacked. That's a fail. Okay. This is actually fun to watch, and it's a nice job. Like, for me, it passed. Good job. What about GLM? Okay, it's not that exciting, like not that much details, no city, but we have 2 roads, and you know, these guys do some stuff. Like this car here stuck for whatever reason. Okay, the car moves. Okay, it closes. Interesting. Well, look, it's a very interesting thing. Like the road markup is under the half of the bridge, but the bridge is like longer. So I think like it was a bit confused. Now it waits like, okay, the car's passed. Here is actually more or less good. Well, actually it's good. Like not perfect. Definitely Grok did it like visually and more accurate, like in terms of logic. But I think it's like more or less good. What about Qwen? Okay, well, it doesn't look that cool. Primitives, etc. Okay, like, but it sort of does the job, right? Okay, let's see. The boat approach the second bridge. We are waiting for last car to cross the bridge. We close the gates and up. Okay, so it sort of works. I mean, I don't know. Is it that easy task? Like why everyone actually made it? And look, when actually stopped the simulation right after boat crossed the last bridge. What about the expenses? In this case, Grok was working actually almost 2 hours and spent almost $7. By the way, a little bit about Grok. All these tests I did in cheapest Grok subscription, and that was actually enough. I recalculated in API cost, that's so you just have all the right numbers, because we compare the API cost. Somehow Qwen spent crazy amount of tokens in short amount of time and didn't even deliver like nice visuals. And GLM spent similar to Grok and was pretty much the same cost and pretty close results. Here are some insights from me. Let's move to the next one. Next is also in Blender. How about we do procedural city builds and record it into the video? All details on your screen. Let's take a look on the results. Grok. Okay, here we go. We have roads generated, then building, okay, Z fighting. All right, and then we have the night and the wind. Woo, I mean, it's not that bad. Like, I mean, sort of some indie game generation. And again, one more cycle, but faster. Not bad, not bad. Let's take a look on GLM. And what is that? Don't ask me why, but it positioned the camera on the wrong axis. Y axis instead of Z axis, or vice versa. I don't know how to see that. And overall, it's like, it doesn't look nice in terms of light, etc. Let's take a look on Qwen. Here we go. Okay. And this one is actually, it's cute, cozy. The lights, okay, let's go. Very close to what Grok did. I mean, I think for this test, GLM, I don't really like the lighting, I don't like the camera. I mean, obviously, like GLM just failed for me. Qwen and Grok, quite good. And I also want to show you blend files that it actually generated. So here is like a timeline that you can scroll and see that result, right? Boom. And then it recorded it. Okay, not bad. So you can even control that. Everything was inside geometry, which looks something like this. Here's GLM file, right? What actually made it like do it like in this? What? I don't know, but this guy really don't understand the chord system in Blender. Like, really strange, right? And it could be looking better if at least he set the right lighting. And geometry nodes, by the way, look very awful. Like, look, they are all collapsed like in one stack. It's terrible. I cannot work with that. So it's very bad job. I'm curious if Qwen actually did same good job on nodes. So yeah, the results, again, like similar to what Grok did, has less parameters than Grok, but let's go and check it in geometry node editor. Okay, no. Ooh, wow. Look how many nodes there are. It's much more than on Grok, and they are also in one single line. Oh, no. I like Grok. Grok is my hero here, like at least from human perspective, like from 3D artist perspective. And it was faster and cheaper. It's very different from testing Kimi K3 and Opus 5. Opus 5 was always more expensive, while here Grok, well, is quite efficient, like, and smart. So, I mean, it's good. Sorry, I missed the right time, but it was similar time to Qwen. But like when this test was finished. One more test before we try to create game. So this one will be also in Unity. We're gonna try some physics with like wind, and we're gonna ask it to create kites. All details on your screen. Let's get on it. Here we go with Grok. Okay. It's not that bad, but shapes look broken, right? It's made from primitives, but why they look so awful? While it sort of reminds me like the actual wind, right? Okay. Let's take a look in GLM. Okay, can see the ground, which is nice. I think like this more interesting view. And here you can see the movement, right? So it doesn't feel that natural like it was with Grok. Also, it looks fine, I guess. Like why this too shaking? I mean, maybe they are scripted. I don't know. No, not really like this one. What about Qwen? Okay. What's going on here? Really don't get it. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like it's physics, Sorry, brother. Like, I think this is a sort of cheating, like, but it's not what I expected to see. Anyway, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think only Grok did what I asked. And in this case, by the way, GLM sort of never finished the task by its own. It was some infinite nightmare, like, loop. I tried, like, to make it work, like, API was always falling, like, anyway, what you saw was some result that I was able to achieve, but it was not saying that it finished the task. Grok did that in 53 minutes, but I think it did that. And Qwen, 23 minutes, but like spending more tokens, not doing that still. And the last test will be recreating that amazing game from my childhood, the Fruit Ninja. I mean, I remember those first iPhones with this game, like that was crazy. So let's try it out. We will give it some APIs like full AI to create some objects. Well, actually, I first thought to do that primitives, but later give this API to do with Tripa. Let's take a look on the results, and I'm gonna share one insight. Grok did quite nice job, and it also was using amount of polygons in a smart way. Like 4 or 5,000 it was requesting these geometries, and the game was actually performing well. I cannot say like it works absolutely smooth, right? But it sort of works, right? So it was actually surprising, like testing this so much that, I mean, it fails so often, but this from first try, why not? Some bugs, of course, is absolutely not flawless. Then GLM. So here's how GLM did it. Well, fruits are very low. I mean, the camera set very differently. And GLM set the polygon amounts for 20,000s or more, were definitely not needed. And at some point while testing, it was even lagging on my PC. So GLM was not really caring a lot about optimization. So you can see sort of works, but again, like there are some issues. And again, the camera, what you see is like how GLM put it, like not really great. And here we go with Qwen. So this is probably the most terrible result so far. So there are a lot of issues. For example, the normals, when you cut the fruit, you cannot see the inside part. Like the cut should be with some specific shader color, like so we can see that. The particles are crazy. They're never stopping, like so. Yeah, sort of bad result. My favorite here, definitely Grok. I think it did great job. I mean, few more prompts and could be much better. And again, Grok was fastest, not the cheapest in this case, by the way. Other Chinese open source models was working for around 1 hour, and they're like twins, like always very close numbers. Well, I think Qwen actually failed this task. Here you can also read some of my insight. And here's what I think about all of that. GLM 5.3 is quite cool if you work in closed company and you need to keep everything on your servers. But outside security matter, if we talk about convenience, I would definitely not like to work with GLM or Qwen. With current APIs, it was such a traumatic experience, to be honest. And whenever I was comparing that with Grok, everything's smooth. Just set the task is done, 30 minutes. And again, I was using subscription, etc. To run this GLM with max thinking effort, guys, that was a nightmare. Qwen 3.8, more or less same, maybe more stable, but again, same problems with how you access it, etc. But I have to admit it's good and can compete with frontier models. But I'm really curious what you guys think about it, so drop the comments, let's discuss it. That was Steph, like and subscribe, and I see you in the next videos.